No Nuremberg Toy Fair in January 2021 because of COVID, so let's go virtual. So no Toy Fair at Nuremberg in 2021 because of the pandemic, but I'm pleased to have Eric Six of WSI on to talk about WSI this year. How are you, Eric?
Good to see you again, Ian. Yeah, we're good. I guess we're all in the same boat, right? No travel. And we need a little bit of flexibility and creativity to get things done. But yeah, we're doing good. Thank you.
Well, I'm in the UK and you're in?
I'm in Hong Kong at the moment.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're thousands of miles apart, but there we are. The wonders of modern technology. So 2020 then, how was it for WSI with the pandemic and all the rest of it?
Well, of course, we were worried at the start. So we kind of made a new budgeting for the whole year because we thought, well, things might drop off. And of course, we needed creativity in how you move around and work. What we saw is that the OEMs, like the big manufacturers, almost all of them immediately halted their either product development or their orders. So there we definitely saw an incline at let's say the first 3 quarters. However, the collector sales went up, yes, which might be logical because people were spending time at home and couldn't go out. So then, of course, they would like to do something positive, and reverting back to your hobby is a good thing. What we were surprised about is sales to our transport companies and crane hire companies, because there we really thought we would take a big hit. And that wasn't the case. On the contrary, we actually managed to increase our sales there this year, which, like I said, took us by surprise. Overall, it kind of evened out. And we're knocking on wood. We're kind of lucky in this industry. We could have been in the restaurant industry, yes, where I think a lot harder. So yeah, we're not complaining.
Okay, well, that's good news. From my point of view, of course, I at the end of a year like to review what's happened and make some awards. And pleased to say that for 2020, I chose the Liebherr LCM 1750 as the model of the year. And I've got a glass here to prove it, which is an award for you. So I'll be sending that to you. And that's of all the models I reviewed in 2020, that was the standout model as far as I was concerned. So well done for that.
We're really happy with that award, Ian. Needless to say, yeah, it was a great project to work on. Of course, an impressive crane, and we're very happy to receive that award. Model of the year is quite a thing. So yeah, we're chuffed.
Good, well done. So let's look ahead then to 2021. How do you see that unfolding? And obviously you've got the Bauma exhibition as well coming in 2020.
Yeah,
we hope.
Yeah, we hope. I mean, who knows in this world? It's a new normal, right?
Yes.
Well, coming to end of 2020 again, then we saw that OEMs were reactivating all their development, their orders. So all of those have been reactivated. And as you say, 2022 will be a Bauma year. So for 2021, people can expect a lot of truck and trailer news. There's a lot of new generation trucks out there. There's quite a few new generation trucks that are about to come out there. So we'll definitely be able to show some exciting new stuff. That's also why there's more focus on this virtual toy fair on trucks and trailers. That said, because 2022 is a Bauma year, of course, in the background, we're working on cranes, construction equipment, etc., etc. What that is, of course, I can't tell you yet. But there will be some exciting stuff in there. There will be a type of crane that has never been done before. We're working on maybe a successor for a very popular crane we had in our tooling bank. So yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff to look forward to.
So as you can see, looking forward, do you think, even though we've had a pandemic, you're going to have a pretty full order book in terms of development for Bauma, for example?
Yeah, to be honest, we're pretty maxed out until 2022 already.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, there's still some capacity left. There will always be last minute Bauma orders, and we can always ram up. But yeah, we're pretty chock full until 2022.
Okay, and if any OEMs were happening to listen in on this call and were thinking of getting a model made, I imagine things like the development time at the moment would be potentially longer than usual, just because of the time it takes to actually, get things approved and samples looked at, because we're not all sitting in the same room looking at things. Is that true? Or?
Well, that varies. In certain cases and with certain OEMs, that might be the case because they're working from home. Different departments need to talk to each other. That might take a bit longer. Providing data might take a bit longer.
Yes.
However, we also have a few models that have already been developed, have not been put out to the market, that had a total lead time of 5 months from start of development until molds completely finished. So it kind of depends with what kind of model it is. Of course, you can't develop an LTM 1750 in 5 months. That's out of the question. But in regards of development, there's not a lot of difference, to be honest.
Okay. So if OEMs were wanting to get a model made, they probably need to be getting on with placing an order soon. Would that be for Bauma? Would that be?
That would be a luxury, because it's always nice to have time, especially for somebody in my position. But we're always flexible and open to see what we can do for any OEM.
Okay, that's good. Right, so should we move on then to what's new for 2021 and what's coming out? I'd like to start with a model that's already been announced, actually, and I think is due for delivery very shortly, which is the jib for the LTM 1500, which has been kind of re-released, but with modifications.
Exactly. We think we had a very nice LTM 1500 jib in regards of functionality, in regards of detailing. But there was a very apparent issue, and that was that we made some boom parts in plastic to increase the stability and also to make sure that the angle that you put the jib on the crane could actually achieve like real life angles. And to be honest, that wasn't well received in the market. Yes. And so that model had been idle for quite a while. And we looked at it again and thought, well, we did the boom parts of, for example, our Leaper MK 140 and the new spearing crane in aluminum, which for us was a new development. So we looked at the 1500 jib again and thought, well, if we would apply that and replace the plastic jibs with aluminum boom parts, then we might be able to put something nice on the market again. It's a factor 2.2 lighter than die cast, for example. Mm. So the weight is actually pretty similar to plastic boom parts, but it's an actual metal, and you can paint it. It has the same paint finish. It has the same feel. We also looked at the decorations, which we got them 95% correct in the first run, but it's always nice to achieve the 100%. And we also thought that the manual was, had some improvements that could be done. So we looked at the whole package, and we're about to re-release the 1500 jib, not only in the Leaper colors, but in 5 other colors as well,
Yes.
because we've put out quite a few LTM 1500 models in the meantime. And it'll be nice for collectors to be able to put the correct color jib on their liveried versions.
Yeah. Well, I think this is good news that jib's coming out again, because it has been hard to find in the last few years, and you're quite right. The issue there with it, it was a very good jib, I think. But the Innovation of the Year award I gave last year was for the use of aluminium, and it's good to see that now being transferred into another new product. And I think the key issue that it allows you to fix is the color match. Because,
Exactly.
That's the one. I don't have a big issue against plastic, but it mustn't look like plastic. That's my issue. And therefore, if it's metal and paintable to the same as the rest of it, then that's so much the better. Anyway, hopefully I'll get one of those jibs fairly soon whenever they come out. And I'll also try, I think, might have a go at fitting it onto a 1750 model just to see whether that fits. I know it's not quite the same prototypically as the on the real crane, but maybe if I get my hammer out, I can make it fit. We'll see.
Well, maybe you can leave your hammer in your toolbox.
Okay, well, we'll give it.
That's all I say about it.
Okay, good. So you've got a series of announcements coming out for this Toy Fair news. Should we start going through those then?
Yeah, I would like to, of course. One of the first ones, and I've actually got some tooling models here, which might be nice to see. I don't know if it captures well on camera. Is one of the classic Mercedes lines, which is the Mercedes NG SK1 and SK2 version. And that actually is a large project. For a truck project, that's one of our largest projects we've done. They've got 2 basic cabs, the SK and the NG, but they've got 3 different roofs, 3 different grills, 6 different bumpers, 3 different heavy haulage towers, which I kind of think are almost pieces of art if you look at them.
Yep.
Lots of photo etching, that's one of them.
Lots of detail there.
Lots of detail, fully die cast, which is something we hear from the market is definitely a benefit. These are in full development. Actually, they're in approval stage for the tooling model, so we'll head into tooling as soon as possible. I think in the coming weeks. So I expect them to turn up at collectors, let's say, end of Q3, start of Q4.
Okay.
And that's something we're really excited about. It's not only the cabs, actually, because it was such a versatile machine. It doesn't only run on a 4x2 chassis or an 8x4 chassis. It also had all-wheel driven versions, etc., etc. So we also have a fully new chassis system for trucks with front-wheel driven axles. We can make anything up to 7 axles. We're fully flexible in that, and I think that's something that a lot of collectors have been waiting for. So yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. So I'll give you a challenge. Maybe not for this model, but for future ones. I don't know. The only issue I always have with truck models, for so many of them, is the steering angle.
Yeah.
And the reason I have that issue is not because I like to push the model along, although secretly perhaps I do. But the reason I like a good steering angle is because I think when you pose it with a hard lock on the steering, I just think it's much more interesting than just having a very shallow steering angle. And some models seem to struggle with that. So I don't know if that's something you can think about as you go forward.
Well, with the Mercedes, we won't have any issue there. I can tell you a little bit about. I mean, you caught me off guard here, Ian, but luckily I have a chassis here.
That's my job.
I'll tell you a little bit about it. In real life, the pivot point, let me see where I am at the camera. The pivot point of a wheel,
yes,
in real life, it is actually almost inside the wheel. But in scale to 1 to 50, that's very hard to achieve.
Yes.
So it is something we're looking at, and it is kind of dependent on truck type as well, because luckily on a Mercedes, the wheel arch is really large. So on a Mercedes, we wouldn't have any issue. What you see with modern trucks is that, of course, the whole mudguard around that front wheel is, even on a real truck, the tolerances are getting pretty small. So then getting stuff into scale is a challenge. But steering angle is a known fact, and it's definitely something we will look into more in the future.
Okay, good.
And the new chassis that I just refer to definitely will address that issue.
Good. Well, it's good to get the insights and the understanding of why there is a challenge actually in getting that steering angle rather than.
Of course, we can't address our full tooling bank. We just can't.
Yes, no, it's moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's how.
Right. But for the future, we'll definitely get that fixed as far as we can.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for that bit of insight. So that's the MB Classics, and of course, a model like that, once you've done the tooling for those, then you can make those forever, really, can't you? Because they've been built years ago, and it's always available to make as many as you want, different colours or whatever. So that's good. So what's next?
What's next is a model that I'll quickly put it together, which we're actually pretty proud of, which is for the Notenboom company, and that's a 2-axle Euro low loader. And people might say, oh, but didn't you have Euro low loaders already? Yes. This is actually fully new, though. It's not 275 centimeters wide, but 250. And the whole dimension is as such that you don't need any permits or whatever. Of course, as soon as you extend it, you would. But any normal truck could run it without a permit. It's got a fully new neck, which is detachable, but I'll show it, which is of a fully new configuration, because normally you would have the connection in the middle. Here it's on the outside, and that makes that the load can be completely loaded onto the neck, and that the truck can be pretty close to the gooseneck as well.
Yes.
And that helps getting the combination length down, for example. And it's got quite a few nice features. It's got an opening toolbox. We chose to have quite a rigid connection with the neck, so that people can actually put heavy loads on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that I have two versions. They look exactly the same, but if we do, for example, a crane with a Palfinger, or a truck with a Palfinger crane on it, or a fussy crane, those tend to be a bit higher because there's an extra chassis on top. So we also have a neck that angles up a bit. And this is still the first shop that I had here to approve the tooling. But these models are actually ready and are shipping and on the water right now.
Okay.
Of course, the first introduction model will go to Notenboom itself in the red line colors,
Mm-hmm.
with a very nice Scania 770 horsepower S-line. So that's the first time we make a 770S as well. So that's another novelty, although the model itself is still a Scania S series. But it turned out really well, we think, and Notenboom is really happy with it. So and it's nice to have a new Notenboom trailer.
Yeah. Okay.
Which you might get used to, because just between the two of us, we've got 6 new projects for them up and coming, which won't all be released within 1 year. But there's exciting stuff to come from the Notenboom company, and not only modern stuff, but maybe also stuff we can, for example, put behind a Mercedes NG or SK.
Okay, very good. So thank you very much for that, Eric. This is like a part 1 video of WSI information, news, and what you've come up with. And in part 2, we'll look at the rest of your new releases.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
See you then.
Yep.